The transition for the solid waste receivership is doomed to fail, as noted by Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadinko-Gatewood, based on its FY 2018 budget of just $7 million, which is $12 million shy of the budget it operated on last fiscal year. Senator Tom Atta hopes to overcome that challenge with a bill that's now making its way through session. The federal receivership for the island's solid waste system may not end by December 31st of this year, as was anticipated by all stakeholders. Instead, a number of outstanding issues could postpone an already delayed transition. Those issues were highlighted in an order issued by Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadinko-Gatewood, who admonished the government of Guam. One of the bigger concerns is the operating budget for the Guam Solid Waste Authority. The Guam legislature approved a fiscal year 2018 budget of just $7 million, which is $12 million less than the $19 million the federal receiver operated under in the last fiscal year. Senator Tom Atta, who has oversight of the agency, hopes to resolve this budget snafu with a bill that's on this morning's session agenda.
It amends that $7 million appropriation and brings it up to the total $19 million. And that the additional $12 million is there. That's from the revenues that are being collected. So, we're not, so there's no problem about, do we have the additional $12 million? It's not coming out of the general fund.
If that additional appropriation isn't passed and included in GSWA's FY18 budget, Judge Gatewood said, quote, any transition is doomed to fail almost immediately, end quote. Another area of concern is in the post-closure care for Ordot Dump, which still has not been approved by the U.S. EPA and Guam EPA because of the issue of methane gas. Senator Atta agrees that it's enough of a critical public health concern.
Right now, in order to really bring that under control, there's, the Ordot Dump is generating methane gas, and that has to be handled properly. Otherwise, that whole thing could probably explode if it's not handled properly. So they need to hire an engineer that would basically oversee that operation, and then they also need to contract an operator to just be looking after the Ordot that Ordot project.
Judge Gatewood is skeptical that GovGuam has the ability to address this issue and recommends that federal receivers Gershman, Brigner, and Bratton continue as receivers, at least on this matter. Finally, there's the issue about filling positions for employment. About half of all the employees at GSWA are contract workers, and it's not clear how GSWA will fill those positions after the transition. The receiver recommends hiring those contractors as GovGuam employees, but GovGuam and Senator Atta would rather extend their contracts by another 3 years.
Unfortunately, what the receiver wanted was he wanted to take the solid waste technicians that are currently on board and just make them classified employees. Well, we can't do that because, first of all, there's certain requirements. You got to be a high school graduate. Well, so what do you do with a solid waste technician who's not a high school graduate? You can't, put that rule aside.
A status hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning, where the transition timeline will be discussed. You can read the order online at pacificnewscenter.com.